Why is my Facebook thing gone? I had a Facebook Live. I went live streaming on YouTube, but my Facebook is gone. It's on the more with the 3 dots. Normally it would be right there. Hmm. Let me go back to that thing for a second here because, yeah, this is YouTube. Huh. All right, well, I would say let's forge on. Are you ready? You ready on your side? All right, so I'm going to have to commence because it's 7:02 right now. That's okay with you? Right, if it's giving you a little beaten up there, then maybe you got to make the move. You got to make the move to max on. Do, 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 do. Now, can you put those polling questions in while I'm talking? Is that possible? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna let it rip. Should I stay on the phone? But don't put your phone near the computer, though. Yeah. Oh, reassign it. Right, right, right. Do, 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 do. All right, now the closed captioning button just disappeared. It's no longer on my screen. Closed. Oh, here you go. Closed captioning. Got it. Assign somebody more. The button disappeared, but it went into combine with the 3 little buttons, the 3 little dots. So everyone out there at 7:04, please be patient. We're just trying to set things up. Appreciate it very much. Charles Richard Zarelli. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. 7:04 p.m., 8/5/2020. Beautiful day out. I'm not sure why it's not letting me assign you again. Did you get the closed captioning now? I gave you co-host permission. Maybe that automatically gives it to you because it no longer is giving it to me. the button on the bottom disappeared. And let me just move this over here. Oh, okay, here we go. I don't know why it disappeared, but it's still the same thing as bringing me up to this thing. And then it's not. I had the option before when I went under more. It said allow you closed captioning, and it doesn't say that any longer. So let me withdraw your co-host permission first. Let me do closed captioning. Maybe you have to do it in reverse. That's weird because it no longer says to make you have closed captioning. That's it. I'm putting you in a waiting room. Assign someone to type. Assign a participant. When I do it, the window disappears right away. But before, I would go back up where it says participants in your name and then hit more. And then it said right there, literally, assign closed captioning to you. It no longer does that. Hey, everyone, just please be patient. We're going to start this in a couple minutes here. Charles Richard Zarelli here. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. We had beautiful sunlight. Wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. And I don't know why it's not allowing me to give you that ability. Well, to me it does. By all the ADT we've experienced, it totally fits. That's capital A, small d, capital T, by the way. So I'm making you co-host again. And like I said, when I go to so how are we doing? Well, I haven't really started yet, only because I was trying to get you in, and the button disappeared where I was able to use that little switch. So what'd you sign in with the other one and you signed out again now? All right, I'm just going to try one more time with the closed captioning. I can't help it. Make co-host, assign to type closed captioning. I don't know why now it says it suddenly. So I gave it to you now. Oh, it's not special. And why do we think it's special? Maybe. By the $2 bill. Oh, I see. How we doing? You ready to go? It's 10 after. We got to go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Being that I'm at least more than 6 feet away, I'm going to remove. Thank you for first responders. Charles Richard Zerilli here. How everyone? How are you doing this evening? What a wonderful day outside. The sun was shining, perfect temperature, perfect weather, beautiful day in the United States of America. Our beautiful United States of America. So let's get rolling. It's about 10 after 7 right now. And we had some little bit of glitches there trying to assign this and do that. But we're here now. So let's keep it positive. Let's keep it in a forward rolling motion. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is keeping safe. I also have a little bit coming up, some announcements about our pandemic. I believe this is definitely reassessable. Let's just put a halt on that statement exactly right there for the moment. All right, so okay, as a new exciting candidate, I would like to take our grandiose existence and simplify much. Faster. We all want faster. Somehow define that and make sense for a better life for us, for all, and feel better. I think this is important. To me, I've always been very sensitive to people my whole life, being in customer public service for 40 years. I have an excellent rate as far as dealing with people, and you want to have some of these people who aren't going to like what I have to say. You can guarantee they're going to come out and try to find somebody who's going to try to say something that's not true. And that to me is going to be a joke, because the tens of thousands of customers that I've dealt with in public service, I'm not tooting my own horn, most requested, least amount of callbacks as far as whatever problem happened, we went to fix. And these are the homes that I've been in your homes. And I've always made suggestions. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. And people always appreciated that. Wiping my feet 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before I walk in. Some people said to me, "You're going to wear the rug out." But I know what they felt. They felt I had respect. That to me was, you know, very important, because I know what it is when people come into any of my property or when I deal with other people and they want respect for their property. Very important. Okay, so I just want to say I don't look like Brad Pitt, and I might not have his abs. Please, Jen, don't be mad at me. But my heart and my mind are, and I am very confident. My name is Charles Richard Zerilli, running for the President of the United States, of our beautiful United States. And I would like to say that I am human running president, not that anyone else isn't, but I feel the word design. Can we do this? Yes. Design is key. And I think that's extremely a tiebreaker for anyone, even out of the 20 people who ran already. So let's take it to the next level. Let's move on. I care. I love all of us. I love our land. I love our flag. In fact, how could we best start this off? I love this. I want to kiss our flag. So this is, in fact, I want to kiss this beautiful star right here. This is part of what we are. I picture our land. This is our dirt, our people, our everything, our animals, our trees, everything that makes it go is all part of design. I love you. Mwah. And I'm gonna give her a hug too. This is all for you too. Anyone who needs a hug out there, that's for me. I'm hugging you as well. And I think it's very important. A lot of times we don't really have enough hugs. So America to receive a hug, I think, is very important. And a little bit of an emotion. We really don't see that. And I think there's a niche to that. And that niche, I believe, has to show some commonality of respect. I believe showing respect outwards makes a greater amount of respect come back in. And I think that's a fundamental lonang. That's my abbreviation. I'm not going to tell you what that is yet. That's one of my surprises. And I love it. That's my abbreviation. I've never heard anyone else say that. So I wrote a book about Lonang as well. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. This is not about the book, except that it is relative to everything I'm speaking of. And that's why I wrote that book, is to involve the respect, involve the care, the love, the tenderness. And I have a couple of surprises that are in that book as well. So let me continue. Let's start off the bat. So I would like to add, please visit time to join. I will give this again coming up, time to join.us. Very important, I believe. This is all about support. Why am I different? So let's start this first. So let me give you a little bit of warning. And we're going to have a warning here with some word game news, making serious topics easier to hear, view, and settle today, especially as necessary. So please fact check me. I want that, please. As a professional diagnostic person for 40 years with a 97.777% record, and I'm being conservative when I say that, coming from an old school family and the good old ear theory. Any of you know what the ear theory is? Oh gosh, you're old school, you'll know this. Your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother, they'll grab your ear, come here, and you follow your ear. It's pretty simple. You don't really have a choice, but you'll learn. And the one thing I could say without even a question, you learn respect, because this is what we really don't teach today in our design. How do we respect? How do we appreciate? I think those things are very, very, very important, very relative to our lives, our people, our solidarity, and I think to everything that we represent. And I think bringing that home is what I'm here for as well. I demand part of my reasonings. I look at my niece in her young 20s, and I demand she have a safe future for 5100 always, and that she should be able to have, without even a question, a retirability, and imagine how many years ahead. So the 5100, I believe, is now applying to every living thing on the face of this globe. So let's continue. This is what I feel is very relative. So please fact check me. Please let Truthometer and factcheck.com do so for us to have an honest guide. With that being said, I honestly see then the ability to advance us. Who talks about us evolving? Not one candidate, but I'm a candidate. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. In fact, I have designed what I believe is the most important thing in American history, is the Declaration of Independence Party. So what is that? Why is it called the Declaration of Independence Party, and what stasis does that really comply to? Is it part Democratic? Is it part Republican? What is it? So we're going to get to that a little bit later. So some of the things we're going to be talking about here, let's give you a little itinerary list so we can roll forwards on this little glossary for the moment. So so we have one of the first things is clearing up some fog. And we'll talk about some of the things that are happening today and how we can adjust some of these things, and how to, because a lot of us really don't have much of guides, except we're told ambiguous statements. And those statements are so broad, but in a design fashion, what do they really mean? Let's break it down, because I believe when you look at someone's ethics, you'll feel comfortable and you'll feel a new solidarity, because if the person is following those things that make that person shine, then I believe those are the very things that bring us together, that share appreciation, that show appreciation, show the beautiful things. When was the last time someone said they want to beautify America? Well, my name is Charles Richard Zarelli, and I just said it. And that's my word. You know, my word means everything. And I want to say, I want to add too, I've once, and I hand to God when I say this, I mean this so, when my every bit of fiber of molecule and to every bit of energy that exists, I've only once broke a promise. So you can put your life, if I tell you the word promise, put your life on it. because I won't tell you it. And if I tell you this, it's contingent, which means I may have certain limitations, then I will let you know that. But I want you to feel a new solidarity. And I think a new way to start that is to understand some of the things I just said, because I'm going to be doing this, and the Declaration of Independence Party is going to be non-political. How about that? Can you buy that? Someone standing up having to step in the political arena claiming they're going to be non-political. How could that be? Very simple. We'll get into that. So also, what is design? And that's very important. So we'll touch base on that. And then also, I'd like to touch on, this is very interesting. And to me, this shows all of you how to figure something out in a new way and to feel more secure for it. That's what I'm looking to have, for us to feel a new security. And we don't really have that. With a pandemic, with our ice melting, and people really don't want to face whether climate change is real or not. We'll get into that a little bit later. We only have, so we're 11 minutes into the show right now. So we have another 45, 50 minutes at most, and we're going to pretty much cut out at that point. I try to do about an hour. So anyway, so what this is, and this is very interesting. I've done both, and I would like to share with you what you have to choose, I guess, how you like it. It's up to you. This is something that's interesting. So deductive versus inductive. And what does that mean? So it applies to what is a better way to learn, deductively or inductively. So we have these choices, and we see a lot of things happening. So we're going to get into that, as well as a new plan. And what is a new plan? Part of the new plan refers to moi, Charles Richard Zarelli. When someone does design, I believe it's the ability to put several pieces together and then show them. One of the things that I have designed, and we're still learning, I'll be honest with you, some of the Zoom things, and we even went to go really far to understand some of the things, how these things work. So some of them are a little bit confusing, so please forgive me. Just really, actually really quick. Let me do it this way. What was that a picture of? Please don't say a church, because that's not my point. So what else was there that wasn't the church? Good question. And here we go. So this is one of my blueprints. When you do design, I put this together. I brought a CAD guy in. I'm just going to show this over here a little bit. So this is a complete design, and you'll see the little insignia right there for the architect, and for one of the addresses that I did work on by permit. A little bit about myself. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli, running for the President Human of our United States for 2020. I'm hoping all and everyone will muster up using electronics how we saw these children do this, and what we saw them do was in less than a week, they arranged a global walkout. Kids did this. We're adults. Don't we know better than them? Are we going to let them show us up? Are you going to let them show you up like a kid knows more than you do? Well, in some ways, maybe, but when it comes to our Earth and someone who we bring in, I believe they should know design, science, physics, forensics. One of my licenses, out of the 14, I could build you an antenna out of your pen. Literally, it's a metal pen, of course. And who knows, plastic that might come up, and we might be able to build antennas out of that before you know it. I have several different things planned for our beautiful America, and I see design. I'd like to also add, number 6 is a plan by design. One of the things I stand for, I like to be straight up, and one of the things that should be no surprise, what I represent is reframing our Constitution. And I'd like to do that. We'll talk about these things briefly. So this is part of the itinerary. Let's get the show rolling here. And I'd like to continue now at this point. So I have a little bit of a warning, which aside from being fact checked, and that is not any bit of a warning. It's just that I feel I want to put myself into that for the respect of being a person of all words, being someone you can count on. I want to be someone you can count on. I want to be someone who has an average of at least 90% better of what I say to you is true and accurate. And I'll say 90 because I'll be honest with you. In my mind, I'm shooting for like 95, 96. But I also know this. It's how I treat you to explain that some things in national security need to be spoke of that can't be spoken of. There are trade secrets. There are people's lives and positions depending upon this because we have world interactions. We have 900 plus Army bases and Air Force bases combined, armed force bases, let's just call it that for the moment. And these are all around the globe. In the meanwhile, in our whole entire Earth, what makes it up? Well, how about the part that is the public is also the money part of the people? So we're going to talk about those things. So that design is very key. So the warning basically at this point. So I would like to advance us. I would like to talk about stuff that is in real science, not fluff. Let's have some ability to face with word game news. That's something I made up to deliver that might be some of the worst news, but I make fun of it. I make fun in the lettering and I do things because it adds another twist to it, because if it's serious, let's have some fun with things because we could fix it and we could appreciate what we have to fix, make it go to the next step and have a resolve. Ultimately, have a resolution. And that resolution is a final ability to make us all feel a new solidarity for real. So let's continue. So, however, some things that we must accept to be able to fix it and to have your support to insist of such, which means share me, time to join, TIMETOJOIN, time to join.us on the web. If you like anything that I'm saying, and I believe I'm bringing up things that are relative to no one else is really bringing up, please share me. Share me with 3 people minimum and tell them the same. And watch what's going to happen, how fast, not even a question of if not. If the kids could do this globally in a week, what could we do in America? And what can I say? You have children who are young? I look at them as my niece. I don't care if they're boy, girl, bi, queer, lesbian, trans. I respect all people. Why? Why do I respect all people? Because it's part of design. We are all part of I believe, our creator's design. And when you see how this fits, you really don't have to hide it. It's just be able to explain it with respect and decency. So I ask this question for right now, for the moment. In the meanwhile, I like to put this in the back burner of your mental mailboxes. I call it a mental mailbox. It always has worked excellent, which means you're not going to answer it right now. Put the question in and then answer it in time to come, and it'll do it by itself. Let's try that. So if you were the president of the United States, how would you do things and how would you handle the millions of things that need to be handled? That intrigues me. I've restored as well as a real estate entrepreneur, and I made a deal with myself. By the time of 30, I would buy a house, and I did by myself. Of course, took a mortgage and then bought another piece of property and then bought another piece of property. In fact, my first piece of property I bought, I was probably no more than early 20s. So I've been very self-sufficient. And now I can see so many things that are just rocked, and we have more homeless than we ever had. We have a lot of things happening right now. So please share me, because I believe what I want to do to reframe our Constitution, it will be reframing, even when you walk into a store, how people treat you is the essence of which I believe we have respect role, and it will create a respect to everything we are and every little bit of individuality that we are. And so respecting design is key. So let's roll forward. So please share me, time to join. That's TIMETOJOIN, time to join .us. It could nothing be better than us. And when I wrote my book, I'm in the tail end of it, by the way, but when I wrote my book, I didn't really use the word I as a capital anywhere except unless it was in the beginning of a sentence. You know why? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to get the book and see. But when you read it and you understand why, you'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, oh my gosh, exactly. I care for us, for every heart, for every person I feel from my heart and my mind together. I care for us, and I care for having a safe tomorrow, not just for us and not just for our children, but for our descendants to come who might not even be here yet. Do we hear anyone speaking of this and having a design plan to roll this forwards and lock it in? You answer me that. I'm not going to answer that. So anyway, so let's continue. So however, some things we must accept to be able to fix this and to have your support to insist such. Also, that we can show and appreciate. Now, some of you are going to look at me with a crossed eyebrow for a second. So just please take a breath, go slow with this, and this will be on my website. All my recordings of all my Zoom chats will be on that later on. So within usually a week, 3 days or 4 days, give or take. So what I'm about to say is going to make people feel like, oh, well, you know, yeah, well, this is what you represent. Whoa, 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 whoa. Please don't ad lib because you feel one or two things. Please give me chances, please. When you understand what design is, you will understand it encumbers everything. That's why I also ask, if you were president, how would you deal with protesters? How would you deal with homeless? How would you deal? Let me not go into that because I could do a whole list of things right now. Let's not get there yet. Let me complete this for the moment, and we can go into some of those things. So basically, to fix this, your support, I insist. So one appreciation are the big money people. What? What the hey are you talking about? Here you're telling us you design, and now you're looking at these people like you're showing them appreciation. Yes, I am. If you understand design, and we have to appreciate even what's going wrong, as well as what's going right, as well as what's being hurt, as well as what's suffering, as well as how to fix it. This is important because when you understand design and you have 14 licenses, some of them, a couple of them have the word master. So by degree, I am a master. I don't say that with a big head, but I want to apply. So what we see in front of us, to please be open about it so we can get to the next step, because I believe if you give me this little bit of time, we'll roll it forwards and roll it forwards and roll it forwards, and then you will feel a new stability. I feel with every bit of cell in my body, you will. So yes. So the big money people. So right now, all proactive people are probably just freaking out. What? Please don't freak out. Go the other direction and freak in. So it's a little bit of a different thing. And at least when someone is saying, I have other things I'd like to add, please don't be turned off because I start into this. And I said this on purpose because these are some of the things that I think are important to make a new beginning, to get you what you all want. Yes. So let's continue. So please do not just prejudge me. Please be patient. And don't freak out. Freak in. So let's ask why first. And let's laugh out loud for a second, because I know what I just said, and I'm openly saying this because there's many facets to this I would like to share with you. I don't want it to be hidden. There's no need to. There's so much the public needs to have open design. And by the way, yeah, all design be open. Okay, so we see the word open in there. There we go. Perfect. So open design. There you go. Wanted to make sure we have that. All right. So I did say this, and when we ask why, I think I want you to know I'm not favoring them over you. Imagine I said that, but I'm not favoring them over you. So now I think we're coming back into where we need to be. So for us, am I favoring it over us? No. They are part of all designs. And however, look what they have done and how we are globally number one. The one thing that is, I think it's important to all of us, is America being number one globally. So now I need to ask, you might have thought a question a few minutes ago, what would it be to be the president and how would you do it? So now I ask the question, how would you configure that are rich people a part of this? Do you do what was done 40 years ago and just tax them 92 cents on every dollar? Most of you don't know that. That's a financial fact. We had no deficit, about 45, 44, whatever, a couple of years. Who's pinching a couple of years in and out? Who cares? So we never had a deficit. And then it changed. Now the corporations today are paying less tax than you and I. So this is pretty much where we're at, that we have to appreciate what it is that we're looking to ask to make concessions, because I believe they made us number one. Do you want to not be number one? You want to be second or third or fourth in the globe? How's that for you? Not for me. I'm sorry. I love America. I love our flags. I love our land. I love our people. Can I gross you out for a second? I love our soil. I love our insects. I love our animals. I love our trees and our woods and our forest. And I think when you appreciate all of these come into a play, and then you start to see how it all fits to make it work. Not that we have to look at the other side of this coin. And as we appreciate all, those big money people somehow fit. They must fit. We need them to make it fit because of how much business they do. So let's look at the other side of the coin. Imagine all of them said, you know what? We're leaving America. Adios. Guess what would happen? We would destroy our economy. We would destroy our country. Would any one of you want that to be done and not handled with kid gloves, but yet to be firm with them? What needs to be, it's not their fault in a way. You know why? Because they're letting laws and they're lobbyists. Let's talk the truth of what the political aspects that have unfolded. Excuse me. Lobbyists have been obviously making several different things happen that have allowed us to make laws, to make the rules, to change them. And we have now allowed within our government to change these in such a way where it's made so much damage against our ecology, our existence even. Excuse me. Some people might not want to acknowledge that, but when do we have no minimum earth maintenance? Why don't we now? So this is one of the things I represent, a standardized earth maintenance for global representation, enticing other countries to come on board, which we already have with our GMO foods. Most people don't know what that is. We already have, in 2014, I wrote a paper on this, and we have what? 224 countries then. How many do we have now? I'm sure we have even more now. So we have a lot of resources around the globe. We have a lot of relationships that we intermingle with. So I believe we have all the resources part of design openly. So let's continue. So to be number one and then to be able to argue with the argue, that doesn't really help. If you argue to argue, you're not really getting further. So I think it's important to sometimes, if you're going to argue, don't. Let's see what we can agree to disagree with, and let's find the commonalities. And I extend this to all of the billionaires. When I step hold into the White House, I want to preempt what you'd have an understanding of what we can have an intelligent conversation, because things are going to change. Not if not. Things always change. Think about that. They always change. So what do? You pretend you don't know design, and then they change, and it's haphazard. Put the brakes on. You know, on the highway, and you see the 18-wheelers, and it says test your brakes, and you see all the rubber lines because all the 18-wheelers slam their brakes on. Why? There's a big hill coming up. And sometimes that's not funny. So open design, I think, is really fun. When you face it, it becomes enjoyable, because then you can see those changes. You know what you projected. You know where you're going. You know where you end up. You have a new solidarity to make a good feeling between all people. And guess what? What the government's job is, it has to make money off of everything. Why? How I see this, $1,000 or $600, $1,200 is ridiculous by design that we tried to make happen here, and we didn't have it by people enough. How many people I know lost their jobs, becoming where they're going to lose their apartments? It's already happening. And people who are stuck in position, and this is what America represents. Let me just say this simply. I don't think so. Let's continue. By design, we would have a better allowance. And I believe that we're making record profit corporation highs. This is a fact. 7 to 9 people are worth 2.1 to 2.4 trillion dollars daily as my last check on that. And I could be off just a little bit, but that's about 52 to 58% of the world's net worth daily. So when we start to squirm over what we do have and what we don't have, I believe we need some type of audit, and we need to be able to show the design. And I believe if the design is suffice, then I believe we would be a much more happier people. So let's continue. So I believe, you know, you can't argue with the argue. How our rules and laws favor the earth's damage that by big corps is uncontrollable at this point. Why? Why have we done only these things? Why are we releasing more coal? My intention is to release a free energy that's never been done before. Not wind, not solar, but this is one of the surprises that I have in my book. And guess what? I want to include JP Morgan. I need, by design, open design, need to include all the large corporations. It has to be. Why is that? Because I think the most important thing is they have the resources, the manufacturing. They have people, not just administrators, but it's huge. When you talk about global, you need a lot of administrators. That's something that's very key. They're facilitated already. They have land, equipment, facilities that are already equipped. So now we transgress them, give these people the opportunity as a first up natural advantages. Anyone coming in helping Charles Richard Zerilli, you will have natural first up advantages. And I say that openly. I'm not going to hide that. And I reached out, by the way, to my folders on the floor. I'm not going to reach it. I reached out to over 1,800 billionaires, which is a record amount of billionaires that we have in our beautiful United States. So let's continue. So we need these people. That's the bottom line. We need to orchestrate them. We need to make them the offers. We need to make it savory. You know why? If we don't, what are they going to do? They have all the money to fight and argue and argue and argue. Why? Because they're not having some form of concession of an advantage compared to the money that they're worth. So we need to work within that because we need those resources. And the word resources is the word our. So that, I think, is extremely very key to take into an advantage. And that's part of Word Game News, by the way, words within words. So the word resources have the word our. So our resources need to be used by a design. So let's continue. So big corps basically did what United States of America rules allowed. More coal, allowing stuff to go into lakes and rivers without being refined. I mean, how many things that I've done and filter systems we've put in for people where there's acidic water, and we were able to put it through a processor and then make it non-acidic. We were able to take contaminants and water filters and filter out people's homes and point of locations, point of use. So we have several different ways that we can handle a lot of this contamination, but it seems like we're just allowing these lobbyists to make all these rules and laws. But what happens when the big corporations all of a sudden start to realize, I ask one question, if we have 41.5 degrees in the center of our Earth, I told you I was science, let's touch base on that for a second. We have 41 degrees in the center of our Earth. How did it get that way? Why is that? I answer that. When we answer it, we can repair our climate. And those who don't want to accept the climate, you don't have to, please don't, but support me. You know why? Because standardized maintenance will automatically put that to rest. It will take everyone who is an activist, proactive, it'll give them a lot to be involved with, a lot to reorchestrate. This is a global thing. Anyone coming up with an idea, I think it's a matter of pooling the resources together and then being able to integrate to make the best steeple of integration of our resources. Why? Because Amerii we can. That's why. Amerii can, we go to the next step, we become Amerii we can. So favoring money over safety and happiness was easy, especially when big money has the ability, and with our time that we could see, is basically proving that we're not complying to a standardized earth maintenance by the laws we've allowed the lobbyists to procure. So another thing is screen time that all these people think, for some reason, people think you're getting smarter. There are studies showing that's not true. So how is it now we could make us advance, better evolution, and become smarter? Design. So where are we going? Where is the design really? Nationally and globally. Where is this? Our process too. Where is our process? Our process of open design. We don't really see it. We see a whole bunch of things happening. We really don't know why. There's many people suffering. Gauge all the sufferings on a scale of 1 to 10. It's only increasing. Do you want it to only suffer? You want people to more suffer? Not really. Is it happening on you? Well, maybe not. What about when it does? Do you want to be abandoned, or do you want to have a people appreciating around you that all of a sudden come to your aid? You can't have both. How do you want to orchestrate people to evolve and have these things happen? Or you want to just say, screw it and think it's all going to get better by itself? That's not going to happen. Charles Richard Zerilli, the Declaration of Independence Party. Let's continue. So when we do business, trade, commerce, interact, receive beneficial services in that daily process, that has no definitive design balance of ecology, business, science, for humans, for us humans, the humans we are, the beautiful humans we are. What is great when we do have design balance, that it is and will be fantastic to our environment, to our business, to our beautiful people, and to ecology in a new way. You'll know what's right when all these protesters and all these people who some of you might not appreciate and you think that they're doing something wrong against America. I'm sorry, I don't. Part of design. Protesters, proactive people, design. They're being open. They're voicing themselves. We had people come forwards with certain things who had very top official positions and then came forwards. You know why? Because they're seeing stuff in a different degree, and we need to kind of come and pull the reins back to make Amerii we can. So that is and will be fantastic environmentally, being that us, the United States, is the most strongest on our global Earth planet. This is beautiful. We are number one. Let's stop for a minute. I want to just touch the flags. We're number one. Mwah, 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 mwah. And all of you, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you COVID kisses. Mwah, 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 mwah. This way it's safe. I love us all, and thank you to the emergency responders. Like I said, my brother was one of the first people in the Staten Island Task Force to respond to 9/11. some woman had said you can breathe the air. That wasn't true. More people died afterwards. Is this okay with you that people suffered like this? This is not acceptable. Let's continue. I love us all. Let's feel the design, because you can be caring and love on one side, and that's really important. And then there's things that have to be changed. And to do this, that warning just told us we have to kind of bear with it a little bit. 7:50 p.m., 8/5/2020. We're on a Zoom chat right now. We're streaming live on Facebook. I believe it did hook up the link. That link disappeared. I don't know why it did. But we also are streaming live on YouTube right now. And to everyone out there watching, and to some of those people who joined our room, there are other people in other places. So spread this, please. Spread me like I'm a disease. Spread me like I am a good disease for the respect of what we need and where we're going. Once you see design, I feel you're going to understand. So what is the Declaration of Independence Party? Let's just touch base on this. So this is clearing up some of the fog. So some of the fog is we don't have design. If we had design, we'd be able to understand a clarity of a plan. There is no definitive plan to make standardized earth maintenance, no definitive plan of socially and psychologically to handle our homeless and those who keep on increasing in that. There is no plan when we see people who are being foreclosed on to take care of them. And what? We're giving people $1,000, $1,200, and $600? As far as I'm concerned, you accepted that, you're abandoning the rest of your own American people. I got to be honest. Like I said, I gave you a warning, some things we're going to go over here that you don't want to hear. And what do? You think it's okay to abandon Americans? I'm sorry. That's why I'm giving up my personal life. I have a list of things I've given up you could not imagine. I'm not going to go into it now. One day we will. When I tell you the list of things, no other candidate has given up what I've given up in a personal life to prove to you. I'll kiss our dirt. I'll eat it. You want me to swallow it? You're more than welcome. I will do this to prove I love us. Go see my video on YouTube, by the way. I think it's on also Time to Join. That's TIMETOJOIN. Join. Let me give that to you again. TIMETOJOIN.us. Time to join.us. It's an 8-minute and 27-second long video. You can go on YouTube, Charles Richard Zerilli, and then you'll see some of the videos from 2016 when I believe in the first person on the face of the globe, including every person in America. Why? Because I was seeing the design. And I invited, and to make it a national, international emergency, making it a public debriefing, when I saw some of the things, and we don't have standardized global maintenance. We don't see that. Once again, this is to satisfy, the 350.org and the Citizens Climate Lobby, which I became part of these. I'm integrating myself in these people. I love all these people. I have such great respect, and I want to thank all of you. I want to give you all a group hug. Ready? We're going to group hug right now. All the people are proactive. All the people doing something. All the people are sticking their neck out. And a lot of people really don't understand in design in which you're just trying to say, hey, we got to change things. I want to give you a group hug. Ready? Group hug right now. I care for all of you. And that's it. Especially for how many armed force people, 22 suicides a day. That's got to stop. Let's continue. Because like I said, we're going to talk about some things you might not want to hear. But what do? Ignore that, somebody's getting cancer and you don't do anything about it? You got to do something about it. Do you ignore that when you see the signs of someone's getting gangrene on their leg? Guess what? You avoid that. Your leg's gonna have to come off. So what do? Have a leg of America come off because we avoided some of the things that could, by design, we have so much money, strongest nation in the world, we could easily tackle these things openly with you. Please share me. So the Declaration of Independence Party is a party that takes the Democrats and the Republicans and it joins and integrates all parties. It's been designed to do this. Why? Because we have a pandemic. Do I need to say why we need to join parties and stop? Yes, politically, if you need to be, I understand. And I don't have it in this jacket, but I have my other jacket, which I always carry the Declaration of Independence with me. And that's part of what I feel is the most important thing, because if we match the Constitution and reframe it, which it was okay to match, what was it, 1 billion people back then, 240 something years ago, but now it's 7.9 billion people on the face of this earth, and we're only growing. And what do? Just think it's not going to go, it's not going to, just going to stop by itself? Yeah, don't worry. Flip a coin. I don't think so. Once again, design is key. Open design. You need to be in part of it. You need to feel. I want to use part of electronics and bring it in and have you give input to the government. I need to know what you think. Like I said, it's not about I, it's about us and we. It's we the people, but the Declaration doesn't say that. It says, quote, in the course of human events. So what does that mean? Can you argue with what a human is? That's why it said it. So what I did is I wrote a book and I broke down the Declaration of Independence. That's right. Every 3, 4, 5 words, give or take. And I unconstructed it and I reconstructed it back together. It's clear. There's no question about it. I don't believe anyone on the face of the globe has done this before. What does it stand for? It stands for birth to death. For human, business, and government. And it shows a balance of such, which meant to guide the Constitution. 13 years passed, and I think they forgot. And look, let's be honest, they had slaves. The statues were ripped down. This is not where America needs to go. We need to learn from our mistakes. I'm sorry to be so abrupt, but what do? Pretend you don't have the gangrene in your leg and no, my leg ain't hurting. No, shh. We'll just cut it off later on. No. Let's be strong. Go forwards. This is America. We need to take the and say, what? Exactly. Now we're getting somewhere. When we ask the question, what after the So I believe clearing up some fog is from the Declaration of Independence Party, joining all parties, because we need to now join arms and not have disagreements. We can't have people in any White House at any time, which I'd like to make some new laws and rules and regulations restricting that a president can't lie. I'm not going to say names and how many times. There should be a curfew, and where all national security people have an ability to reorchestrate to the president directly. Excuse me, you're saying all these things, but we're seeing a national security problem with this, and maybe the people might not even know about it. So I want to adhere to all the national security people. My brother being Staten Island Task Force, one of the first responders at 9/11, thank God he wore a mask because he didn't believe. He's seen our whole families do all constructions around us and people and friends. And so we understood. He understood. He wet a t-shirt and he put it over his face. Guess what? Thank you, God. Thank you. And when I say God, I mean everything included. God to me means the sun, the moon, the earth, every bit of light, laws of nature, nature's God. God, it means the expanse, everything existent, every animal, every person, every insect. When I say the word God, this is the word God, because I believe we all have energy. So when I say the word God, I want it to be clear that that's what I mean. I want to include everything when I say that. Why? Because I believe our creators use design. And I could see this in a quantum ability. Even people like Carl Prebrams and Wilder Penfield and all these other people, they've proved so many things of quantum mechanics. You have to, I put these people on my website too. So you can Google them and just research as you like, and you could learn, because I don't want to overwhelm anybody. So it's important. We go in little teeny baby steps, but the person in control shouldn't be apt to have personal vendettas or, to curse out other world leaders. Stop that, please. Respect is important. Once again, circle back. Let's talk about what we are not going to agree with, that we can agree on to get to the next step of a solid motion. That I think is intelligent for anybody, especially for big money people. They don't want to deal with people who's going to be whining and emotionally blah, 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 blah. Let's use all the resources. Let's go forwards. So Declaration of Independence Party joins all parties, and it is an independent party. It had to be neutral, because then it can orchestrate, and we can always revert back after we find the Declaration of Independence Party has created a new solidarity, a new motion, a new feeling, a feeling that when you go into a store, people all of a sudden are now favoring what you may need and being respectful in a new way. And they're happy to do so, but not overdo it. There's a balance there. So we want to have a new orchestration and even the feelings of life. And recently I've gotten, about 2 years ago, I believe it was now, a certification in hypnotherapy. So having 14 licenses, including 5 EPA certifications, and a certificate of hypnotherapy. One of the things in hypnotherapy, which I believe are the most important things, is what's called IR. internal representation. And I believe those things are the most important things when we speak of how we can do what we do. And the internal representation, which I thought I had my document, I broke it down. Okay, that's all right. We can just look past that. But IR, internal representations, RAS, reticulated activating systems, these are very relative to how we think, and everything we do embeds in us. Imagine all these things that are happening today. I'm not happy that you're not happy, and I feel it. So let's move past that. So the Declaration of Independence Party, Charles Richard Zerilli, at your service. Let's move forwards. So it's about just about 8 p.m. right now. We're just going to go for like 10 minutes. So how to is you have to vote me in. My name is Charles Richard Zerilli, on the ballot or not. Charles Richard Zerilli, the write-in box, because I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping now. I'm not stopping. And I don't want to have where those who understand that we understand why 41.5 degrees is in our Earth, but our ice is melting. So why is that 41 degrees, 41.5 happening? I don't want to even think for any reason. And although people may want to argue with the climate or not, the bottom line is it's true and real. I can explain it to you in detail, as I have 5 EPA certifications, air conditioning, refrigeration. I'm one of the best heating persons you can ask any questions in design, as well as the design of everything. So, and one of them is a master licensed plumber, as well as master licensed fire suppression. And really, they wanted to change the name plumber. We want it to be called sanitary engineers. So, without any question, I am qualified to be, as well as a sanitary engineer. I am excellent at physics and forensics. Lead me to something. There's not one piece of equipment that professionally that I've been in front of in my life that I couldn't handle and take care of and triumph. And my hand to God when I say that. So I have tens of thousands of customers, and what can I say? I mean, you wanna pick the ones that we can have the worst? That's okay. But what are you gonna find? 1 or 2? They're not even 100th of the people I've dealt with, because guess what? Nobody's perfect. Somebody's not really amicable. I've had a couple of customers like that. So be forewarned. Some people are going to listen to what I have to say. They're going to want to trash me. They're going to have to make things up. I'm a person of my word. I've never broken a promise in my life. And I've never cheated on a woman in my life. Growing up with 7 women, I believe there's a lot of things women need to have the right and respect. And they need to be given that without even a question. Let them feel at home. At home in America, not to have to fight so much for so much of their rights. Women are so brilliant. And every bit of design we complement in so many different ways when you see all the advantages. So here we are now reorchestrating what we represent. Let's continue. So now we understand what design is in such a way, because I've mentioned it about 40,000 times. It's every piece that's involved that makes a plan. And when you see every piece, when do you hide those pieces? If it's national security, let's be honest. What do you want to do? Give away our people? That's not going to happen. They don't know it. If I was one of the people in the combat field, I'd be one of the best people to get you back. There's no question about it. I got you. And most all of you in America right now, I want to feel I could put you on my shoulder and run down the hill with you, or run up the hill. I don't know how far up the hill I'm going to go, but I'll make it a little bit. But I can handle myself. I have a surprise, by the way. When I get to the White House, that's why you need to put me in there. I'm not going to tell you my surprise yet. So what's the difference between deductive and inductive reasonings? And why is it a better way to learn to pick one or the other? So what's deductive compared to inductive? So inductive is like Sherlock Holmes. There's been a murder. And then from that, you put all the pieces and all the pieces and all the pieces and all the pieces, and you finally get to the answer. So that's inductive. Deductive is when we have, am I saying this opposite? I could be. Deductive is when we have a premise and we put all the pieces together. I think I am saying it back. The deductive, I believe, comes from the top down. Inductive basically is going to be where we climb and we have a goal. And no, actually, no. I forgive me. You know what? When you do these things so naturally, you don't think what they're called. So guess what? Let's face we're human. Nothing is perfect. But put me in front of anything, and at least you can make fun of me right now, because when I fix it, you're going to be like, oh, it didn't make a difference what it was called. He did it. So that's the reality. So the comparison is, in short, one is deductive, one is inductive. One is you take the answer and you work pieces until all of a sudden, boom, you come to that answer, and a point of vivification all of a sudden pops after the Vatravi made so much confusion. And then the other one is where you have a premise and you're putting all these pieces together and all these pieces together and all these pieces together. And all of a sudden now you have the same almost atrophy in a different way, but the reverse direction. And now still a vivification that makes a pop. So I believe that even for all of us, having a climb in such a way where we can have a sudden crescendo, which means you have to have faith. Just like that song, I gotta have faith, faith, faith. Yeah. So I think these things are important. And I think having a structural foundation of design is important. I think it's the global most important one word that the candidates must be speaking of, must be inbred, and must clearly understand. And I will investigate between deductive, inductive, as far as the direct definitions, but I know the difference, obviously. One is from a top down, one is from bottom up. You're both coming into a conclusion, boom, and you get it. My point was to bring that up is having faith is more of a way from the bottom up. And sometimes you don't see the pieces. And believe it or not, it's now proven sociologically that when you have a point of atrophy and it's confusion, it's healthy. But healthy, I believe, when you can have faith in someone and you can see that moving in a positive forward motion, absolutely. Because then you know that confusion is going to come to a wonderful head. And then it's going to come to the point of vivification and it's going to pop and you're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly right. And we feel good. Do you want to feel good? I want to feel good. Do you want to feel good? I want to collect, attract, and re-attract back in all the people who are turned off. I want you to feel good. It'll make me feel good if you feel good. That's one thing I've learned. When you help people, it causes a thing to feel good. And we don't want it to hurt America's position. So there's an integration now. Because what do we do? Release all the natural things and destroy 23.5, 28.5 million, 30 million jobs? This has to be an integration. And some of the doctors I know, I could tell that they've been treated in certain ways and they're so looking to hit that point of vivification to pop because they're so frustrated because they know what they'd found. When I got 2 people to stop insulin, I'm not going to tell you how. One of my nicknames is the doctor in A to Z. I believe we can have some from the ground up, have some faith, and have some nice, good feelings together and make it come to an ability of feeling good and having the ability to feel good. Yes. And so I want to track back the people who didn't vote, people who did vote and turned off. I'm doing this non-politically. Please give me this chance. So that's pretty much the new plan. So what I did was I did it from the bottom up and I worked. So I told you what it was before I described it, but now you understand. That's a new plan. Charles Richard Zarelli, my name, running for the president of our beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, United States. That's all of us together. Beautiful. And so a plan by design is that refreshing of a plan. And I believe myself, Charles Richard Zarelli represents that. So, and I hope that me making a mistake was okay, because you know why? I want it to be acceptable where we can make mistakes. And although we strive to be perfect, yes, it's excellent for business, no doubt about it. But in markets, whether a pandemic happens and we have someone like Facebook in one day, because a pandemic happened, made $13 billion, people are going homeless. People are losing their abilities for their apartments. Is that okay with you? Does that make you feel good, even though it didn't happen to you? Have we learned to be so selfish because so many things turn us off by nothing of an orchestrated design and not an open design? And if we were to say the word open design, then the open design, without a doubt, is only because we've not really planned anything. And it's a plan of no design. To have no plan is a plan. It's a plan you've had to be lost. I believe we are disheveled with no words. Let's discuss who we are as a people. Let's talk about the truth to fix things. Just like any good marriage, any good relationship and friends and family. And you have a problem, at a certain point, you got to bump heads and then you integrate. And especially for a married couple, people who are in relationships, once you make up, you make a new love and you feel way better and you feel resolved. That's what America I see happening. A new resolve. And you know what's going to allow it? All these things falling apart are going to bring us forwards, and we respect all the piece of design, and we have a new solidarity, and we feel good. Yes. Yes. We feel good. So I would like to ask one final question. United States of America, number one, yes or no? Yes. It's beautiful. Absolutely. And I would like to ask, I'm going to leave you with this. I don't want you to answer it now. Please, not even in your own mind. I'd like you to put this question in, and I'd like you to just simmer on it like a good stew. And my aunt, oh my gosh, old school, whoo, she makes, you wouldn't even believe, a stew. Knock your socks off. So I'd like to ask you this question and leave you with this, because as I see the earth and all the pieces and the big money people and all of us, and we have this whole entire ability of all these orchestrations, we need a forward motion plan. That to me, X the question. And I have to X this, and I'd like to X it very kindly and very gently. And meanwhile, thank you very much for our emergency service people. I want to point that out. All of you, I love all of you. And all of you, group hug. Oh my gosh, come on. Ugh, yes, thank you. I love you, man. And how many people that I know in the police department, the fire department, these people stick their necks out. Defunding the police department, I agree, but it's being done wrong. I'm not going to go into that now. By design, you would apply many aspects. None of these things are really being adhered to. So I think there's a little fog going on. So I'd like to ask that question, and then we're going to pretty much end. Do you care? My name is Charles Richard Zarelli. I care. I care tremendously. I care like I can't tell you I care. Do you care? I want to feel you do. And I want to feel that you care. Because then if you care and I care, we have a whole new ability to create a new orchestration. And think about this. The kids outdid us. In 1 week, they had walkouts. In 1 week, I want you to contact everyone on your digital devices and don't stop. Charles Richard Zarelli, the Declaration of Independence Party, time to join, TIMETOJOIN, time to join.us. For a respect and a new solidarity, the Declaration of Independence Party, joining all parties, not giving any excuses to any party, to so much having so much bantering back and forth. Stop that already. We have a global pandemic and we have an ice that ain't looking good. We already know it. How many times in the news and all this? And why don't we hear news that's solid? How come you and I don't have the same stories? When I got people to stop insulin, do I hear it? And I've not gotten a cold in several different years. And what can I say? It's very specific things I've learned. I understand epigenetics. It means every cell in your beautiful bodies change 10,000 times a day. What do we do? Not put this in part of a design? I believe we have a new solidarity, and I believe all of us have to come together and join in the Declaration of Independence Party. Let's make a solid, safe tomorrow. Be safe. And I want to add too, don't answer the question, do you care? I want you to think about that. Do you care really? And if you decide for some reason that there's parts of you that do care, especially those who are turned off, I'm doing this non-politically. Why? Quote, when in the course of human events it become necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them and to assume among the powers of our earth, the Declaration of Independence says, stop. Stop the politicalness. Yes, you guys need to, and it gives you something to do, and it makes all this news, and it gives AOC a chance to stand up for what she believes in, and all these people who are beautiful, and then there's adverses, and it goes back and forth, and cursing at anyone. No, 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 no. That's not a good thing. Having emotions to the certain point where you believe you can't handle what a very beautiful person and what profound originality she's coming to the table with. Once again, everybody who has something to say, where do they fit in design? That's how I'm going to leave it. Design is key, open design. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli, the Declaration of Independence Party at your service. I see a new solid safe tomorrow because all of you are going to make me in as I give up my civilian life, and I have no choice but to walk through and respect all of us no matter what we are and design a new design, and you're going to feel good about it. I don't believe we're being taken care of. I believe there's a lot of different things, and some of us are feeling comfortable. Excuse me. When we see the numbers and the stats, some of us aren't even hurting, so you won't even relate to this. But what do? Be heartless now? To turn on everyone else because you're America and you were able to do whatever you want and no one else counts? You know what these two ladies say? Do I need to say it? That'll be on the next show, on the next Zoom meet. I love you all. I care for you all. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli, running for our beautiful, beautiful United States. Time to join. TimeToJoin.us. Time to join.us. Yes. You can also call me in case those of you who don't want to do technology. Part of design, we have to adhere to these people too. Senior citizens, what do you do? Look at these people, let them go into senior homes? Please, don't do this. I nursed my father. We decided. So it's not easy sometimes. So I understand that. But what do? Let America turn into a bunch of senior citizens that we put into a home and forget about it all until, wow, it's dead and you go to its funeral? If we die, we're not going to have any funeral. Who's going to come if things start going in such a way that they could without standardized minimum earth maintenance that satisfies everyone about our climate? And when I tell you free energy and things, I want to say this is greater than the HR 763. Honestly, HR 763 is not good enough for me. I'm sorry. I'm a technician. Professionally, I've resolved tens of thousands of things in my life professionally, 97, and I thank God, thank you, God, for all of what I've been given and my talents. I want to share it now and give it to all of us and to all of you. I want every child and every one of us to be safe tomorrow. And all these suicides that are happening, this is part of our design. We can't allow this. We can't be heartless. We have to be united. That's a hint. I'm not going to give you the rest of it, but you should be able to know. I love you all. I care for us. Charles Richard Zarelli at your service. Time to join is the site. I also just gave out the phone number. This will be broadcast back on YouTube coming up. And be strong, be positive, be confident, and see it done already, because I do. My name is Charles Richard Zarelli, running for the president, human president of our United States, and no offense to anybody. And if they want to have an offense, we can banter it out later on. I got no problem with that. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night. Be safe. And if it was me, in 90 days, this pandemic, nationally, we would see it go. Not if not. I feel extremely confident to say that. I love you all. Thank you. Have a good night. Charles Richard Zarelli again. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Be safe. I look forward to talking to you again soon.